Alright, so I'm back here with the RS4 2. I've got a single speed and a 2-speed. A little bit of a change of plans here. I was going to use a Honda Civic and Mitsubishi Eclipse body, but I decided to repurpose those, and I'm going to be using these truck bodies. I've got a Silverado and an F-150. I had gone ahead and ordered some parts for both these cars, and unfortunately some of the parts didn't get shipped out, so I had to cancel the order. We'll see how that pans out, but I do have enough to at least complete one of them, so we'll get that done. These are some of the parts I had ordered, including these two differentials. So I got 2 sets of the belts and a set of used differentials, pulley, spool, whatever you want to call it. So I've got those in case I need them, but if I do need them, they'll be for the single speed here, which is in much worse condition. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue to break this stuff down. I'm gonna clean it, and I'm gonna come back with it all laid out as you've seen in some previous videos, and that'll be a nice clean slate for a rebuild here. As you can see, this stuff is quite dirty, and definitely needs to be properly cleaned. So I'm gonna get this apart, come back with a nice layout, and be able to get at least one of these rebuilt. Alright, so it's all broken down, and it was really dirty, and I accidentally jammed a flathead into my knuckle, so that's a good time. But yeah, I mean, the chassis alone speaks for how dirty the rest of the car was. It was quite grimy. Both my hands are disgusting, but that's progress, right? So I've got the major portion of it broken down, ready to be cleaned, and then we can really start making some headway here. This stuff was quite thick and caked on there. It was obviously neglected in the basement for 20 years after being put away dirty, so there was a lot of elbow grease going into cleaning these parts, but they're clean. So we've got a nice canvas here to work with, and I'm gonna go ahead and just start putting some things back together, and I'll be using a new set of belts. The old ones here are just a little chewed up, tired, so we'll use new ones. And I have all the pulleys in this car here are in good shape, so that's good to know. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this together, and see if we run into any issues. So I got most of the front end done. Looks really nice. That belt is nice and fresh. I'm glad it has the tensioner there. So can continue on to finish the rear end, and we'll have a roller. So we've got ourselves a roller. It's looking pretty good. I had to actually cut the rest of this out because the previous owner, my buddy Reese, had this on a Evo, so I just had to cut the rest of the body out to make it fit. But we've got ourselves a really clean roller. I still have to glue these tires. These are what came on the TCO1. I think this is going to be a good car to use them on. Still have to trim the rear posts, so we'll get to that later. But yeah, it cleaned up pretty well. Once you take these apart, there's actually a lot more parts than meet the eye. This is the status of the single speed one I have here. I've still got the front and rear end assembled, and when they break those down, it's gonna be quite a lot of parts. So this is kind of deceiving as to how many individual parts there actually are, and this is even more deceiving. But did the same process here as I did on the Tornado and the rest of my vehicles, and this is looking pretty good. Nice and clean. You can actually see the chassis. The video here doesn't do justice to how gummed up that stuff was and how actually stuck to the chassis it was. So it's nice to be able to see it glisten through the plastics. So, you know, it's in really good shape for what it was. It just needed a little bit of TLC, which it has now received. I used the newer pulleys that I acquired. I just pulled them apart and put some grease in them, and they felt really good. So that's really the only maintenance I did. I took the used pulleys from the 2-speed and I kind of just set them aside in case I need to reuse those. Be able to do that in the single speed. So next thing for this project is to get the engine cleaned and installed. I'll have to find a pipe combo. I'm not going to use this pipe. It's just a little jankier than I care to use. I don't really like this liquid gasket stuff that people use, so I'll set this aside to the spares and probably eventually sell it. But yeah, these belts, they come from South Korea. I got it on eBay, Tough Racing. They fit like a glove. The old ones were just a little shot and tired, worn. So if I'm gonna do a refurbishment, it's nice to be able to have fresh belts. I think these seem to be a little stronger than the stock ones. Seems like there's more fiber in there. So that's where this stands. It's looking pretty good as a roller. I think this is a good point to stop for now, just because I don't have exactly what I need to finish this one. So I'm going to do some more research, see if I can locate some more parts. This one's going to be fun. So that's pretty much it for now. Definitely stay tuned because this isn't finished. But gotta get some more parts, and I've got some other projects that I have stuff for that I could get done. So we'll move on from here for now. Thanks for your interest in Nitro. If you've made it this far, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.